You know, I'm not exactly sure if I understood most of it, but I just literally just finished reading it 2 seconds ago. And it took a it took a little extra time. It took a couple days. So this is what I call book 19 and a half, or you can call it book 3. Welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina K-R-S-T-I-N-A. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy schmancy stuff going on here. So this is the end game. It's a book 19 and a half. We did Nemesis the other day. And then this is the book that comes after Nemesis. And then this is the book 20. And then this will be 20 and a half. That's, or what, book 4? 5. Book 5 of the British part of it. So, right now, we're talking about the end game, which is book 3 or book 19 and a half, depending on how you want to look at it. And, I don't, if you're a chess player, you may understand what's going on here. I just, let me see. See, rook takes a2, or bishop to f8. So I have no idea what all these chess moves are about. I have no idea. But it starts out Iranian, maybe? I don't know. I mean, I didn't really understand most of it when they went political. My my attention span waned a little. I was just didn't want to deal with the politics of it all. I did start to keep a cast list. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19. Let's say about 20 characters. Just like your kind of sort of core main kind of focus. I didn't keep track of the extra ones that come and go. So you have Mike, Michaela, or Mike for short, and Nicholas are your two main agents, just like Sherlock and Savick. And Sherlock and Savick do have a larger appearance in this book than they did in the last one. They do come in towards the end of the book, and they do have several chapters of interaction with Nick and Mike. So we get that, and they do help out. And there's a little thing at the end that I'm going to read just a little bit when we finish all this. So there's this guy. His name is Matthew, and he's got this thing against oil refineries, so he's been blowing them up, and he's been developing new type situations. And he's also got the help of a couple of computer geeks, and he's got a couple of pawn people he's working with. So he's got his little crew, and I believe, so it's Matthew is like the head guy, sort of, kind of, but he is this new guy, kind of infiltrated and got under his skin and got control and started, pushing him in the direction that he wanted Matthew to go in, not the direction that Matthew wanted to go in, but he kind of swerved it just a little bit. So Matthew was starting to do his bidding, and this guy was Zahir, aka known as Darius, to the group. So we have like Darius pushing the little Matthew buttons, and then Matthew. And then we had Matthew's people of Andy and Vanessa and who was the other guy? Ian. So he had his little pawns here. And Vanessa, we don't find out till late, very, 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 very late. Sort of kind of spoiler, sorry, spoiler. But until many, many, many chapters in, maybe 60, 70 chapters in, we discover that Vanessa is an undercover CIA agent and she has infiltrated his group. And I'm wondering, when she started to get substantial information, why didn't she just, yeah, she was sending it to her handler, who turned out to be her uncle, by the way. Why the higher ups just didn't why they kept waiting? Why did they let him do all this bombing? Why did they let him do all this stuff when they could have picked him up sooner? Why did they let all this destruction happen? That was that got under my claw. They were bombing refineries, they were doing this, and they were bombing that, and they were bombing this. But at a certain point, no one was getting hurt. But they were still doing all this destruction of property. And the CIA knew about it. And for the greater good, they wanted to get more goods on this guy before they do whatever. And then people started getting killed. 15 people, I think it was, got killed at this one refinery. And Vanessa's starting to we need to do something here. And she was sending messages to she had a secure phone, a burner phone, and it was programmed to erase all calls after they were received. And she was texting information, and she was in the shower, she was running water, and Matthew was having issues with her. They were having trouble, and he barged in on the shower with her. He heard the ping go off on the phone. He discovered the phone. He shoots her, and he shoots his buddy, and then he burns the place down as a double entendre. But Vanessa, spoiler alert, survives. And her life is touch and go for several chapters. And several other people heroically give information, and they meet their ends quite quickly. And there's a couple they get taken to a safe house, and they still lose their lives. So there's a lot of stuff going on there with Matthew and his group. And then we have Nicholas and them trying to track down the bombings and investigate the bombings that are going on. So the FBI, if they had had the information from the CIA, this case might have gotten closed a little sooner. Then they also revealed that a hit has been put out on the Prez and the VP. And it's the VP who I want to smack her upside the head 6. It's a female VP, by the way. And this was written way before. This was 2015. But this was, I wanted to smack the vice president upside the head because she releases Vanessa's name to the public, saying there is a survivor, an informant, blah, blah, blah. That alerts Matthew to her being alive, and he comes after her. So then when all this comes out and they have their fighting and they argue, blah, 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 then they decide, well, he's going to go after her anyway. So they do a takedown. So you'll have to read about how that goes. But, so those are your two main. The plot to get the VP is sort of kind of insinuated as a separate plot until it meets up with this other plot when they discover the people involved are the same people. And this bombing thing gets out of hand. Matthew's stuff gets out of hand. Nicholas and Mike get closer. They have a little romantic time. So, and they have some moments. They're cute moments. But after all of this, after the stuff with the bombing goes down, they get some news. But let me see if I can fix this. So we have this small group who believes themselves to be terrorists who are bombing. Did I write it down? They're calling it COE, and it is. I didn't print that page out. Sorry, but it takes I don't know, 50 or 60 chapters before I finally spot that it's something of Earth. I forget. I'm sorry. I wrote it down, but I didn't print that page out. I was like, well, finally we find out what this abbreviation is. It's like COE for like most of the book. And then it's like not towards the end that you find out what the abbreviation means. So you'll have to read the book to find it out. So, like I said, you have the attempts on the president, supposed, um, these warnings come out that they're going to go after the president, vice president. The president is in the middle of negotiation talks with these groups in the Middle East, and the vice president is supposed to be handling that. She was chosen just for the specific reason that she had ties and people and a network over there that could help with this, and that's why the president chose her for her connections. And so he's like, he wants her to facilitate all this stuff, and he's insinuating she does all this stuff. And she's not too pleased with him. But so then we find out that there's a price on her head type situation. But then when all this other bombing stuff, and it takes a really, really long time to get through all this bombing stuff and to get all your players in place and to get all your clues in place. And it just takes a really long time. And like I said, it took me almost 3 days to read this. It's 450 pages. It's a thick book. I did enjoy the Sherlock and Savick things, but we get a little separate thing. Oh yeah, rook to checkmate. I have no idea what all this stuff means. But anyway, so Sherlock and Savick come in and tell them this special news. Savick says, I think we've come up a way to make sure you two can follow your instincts, be wild hares when you feel it necessary, and the U.S. government won't have to arrest you and throw out cases because you've overstepped legal bounds. We're creating a special unit authorized by Vice President Sloan directly. We know the president will sign off too once he's better. A special unit? You're going to be a small mobile unit handling some of our more esoteric cases. Your scope is international, your budget unlimited, but if you decide to buy a small country, I imagine there'll be questions raised. You are Black Ops line item as of this moment. We're still FBI, right? Yeah. Oh, absolutely on the surface, but your unit will have exceptional powers. You'll be able to move throughout all areas of the government as needed with no roadblocks. You'll pick up your own team, though we have suggestions. We think Gray Wharton, Ben Houston, Louisa Barry, and Lisa Scott would be excellent teammates. You've proven your ability to work well with all of them in the past. And Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce makes an appearance in this book very, very, albeit briefly. But he was in The Lost Key. He was one of the key players in The Lost Key. His father had been killed, and he ended up being a computer expert for them. You and Nicholas are joint chiefs, Savick said. I trust you to keep each other in check. You report directly to Mr. Zachary, and you'll continue to have your base of operation out of the New York field office. You'll have your own section that I understand is being set up for you as we speak. After this meeting, you'll meet with your team once you get settled in. So, if you want to read the rest of that, you'll have to get the book and read the rest of that. But that is the beginning. So I guess that's why we're doing the Devil's Triangle. But we got to get through Insidious first. Look at the difference. Ah, shoot. My screen just blacked out. Look at the difference in size. But anyways, if you could please hit the like and subscribe and let me know I'm doing a good job, I'd really appreciate it. This took 3 days to read and less than 10 minutes to talk about. 15 minutes. Ah, sometimes. But anyways, I hope you have a good day. Have a good one.